Hallelujah and Amen, two endlessly powerful and popular words within music. I can't say I've heard them be used in such a celebratory but solemn manner though, until I heard Ty Brasel's Praying Hands. That song was my introduction to the bigger picture that is Ty's latest project, Destined for Greatness. Short though it is, it's only side A, coming with 7 full songs. With no interludes or extra content, this is a straight playthrough as you jump from one song right into the next, making for an overall seamless experience. A good start for sure, but how does this short journey shape up? As usual, thanks for watching everyone. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to leave a like so I can be more in tune with what kind of content you guys want to see. All that being said, let's see how much lyrical content was packed into this journey. Given the brief nature of our project here, it's important to remember that its progression is fast as far as concepts go. I wouldn't call it a shallow experience, as it rather fits with Ty Brasel's original intent for the project. It's more of a brisk-paced run through the overall ups and downs of his story, as he was stepping into the great destiny awaiting him. It almost sounds like the premise for a short fantasy novel, and it's sort of how I found this project to actually play out. Each song tends towards the dramatic, as they deal with various topics in a straightforward but vivid way. The song The Game addresses the struggle that Ty Brasel had as he started moving away from the lifestyle he knew, getting closer to God while possibly losing the respect of those around him. In a larger sense, it's a very relatable song, calling upon that feeling that many Christians can relate to as they stepped away from some parts of their old life, all for the sake of walking with God. Meanwhile, Praying Hands gives a celebration for all of the hardship Ty Brasel went through on his way to being where he is today. Like I mentioned in the intro, however, it's such a weary celebration, with the lyrics painting a gray coat of paint over the celebration and lending a thoroughly fatigued feeling to the whole song. It's the sort of celebratory attitude you have after you've just fought your hardest battle and are too worn out to do much besides be thankful you're still standing. Ty Brasel is arguably an expert of projecting the underdog feeling into his craft. There's the sense that his triumphs are always hard-fought, and whatever ails him does so relentlessly. Those hard-fought triumphs, however, do well to add a lot of vibrancy and cheerfulness to the atmosphere of this project. 777 is easily the happiest song here, and it does its job well. It's a lyrically smooth poem of praise to God, with some lyrics that are definitely worth a double take for their cleverness. As this was a journey more full of hardship, however, you'll find that the majority of songs lean towards portraying the feeling of endurance. The only other song we get of this distinctly victorious nature would have to be Phoenix in Exile. This song is, rather than a direct praise to God, more of a warm-hearted reflection on his recent past and success. The success is visualized lyrically as more than one thing. He's grown his artistry as well as his loyalty and faith in God, rightfully worthy of some upbeat lyrics. And although Ty Brasel sprinkles in some of the tough realities that came with this success, the song is nonetheless laid back with a positive message. The last 2 songs revert back to that tasteful, melancholy nature of the overall project. Shooting Star puts a notable flip on the trend of love songs in hip-hop, particularly within the CHH community. Rather than a rosy letter to his beloved, this is a stark and emotionally distant revelation of how Ty's relationship with a certain woman went all too south. The lyrics interestingly feel a bit broken, as though they were incomplete thoughts. It adds to the sense of numbness that this song portrays. Redemption finds itself in the 3rd verse, where Ty chooses to acknowledge the emotional pain he caused and turn from it. Interestingly enough, the last song struck me as the most present one on the project. There's little usage of the past tense with his writing on this one, and so we come to the point where Ty finishes reflecting on his past life, turning to the here and now as well as the future. The song itself is even called Shine On, suggesting that Ty must and will continue on, fending off his hardships along the way while remaining close as can be to God. It's a solid ending point for side A, and leaves a lot of room for side B to come in and add on to the experience whenever it ends up coming out. Overall, if you've been liking the melancholy and relaxed lyrical style of Ty Brasel's more recent songs and feature appearances, then this is the logical follow-up to all of that. As Ty mellows out through the ups and downs in life, it reflects quite strongly in his music, with this project being the strongest example of that process. Reflective and fragmented lyrics running through this project create the sensation of a brisk roller coaster ride through an amusement park full of Ty Brasel's colorful and equally sorrowful memories. Through and through, it's a solid portrayal of his ups and downs through life. If you've already heard some songs from this project, then you might guess that there's not a whole lot I can critique here. This is probably the best Ty Brasel's production has ever sounded, representative of how far he's come. Everything sounds clean and very neatly blended. The kicks have a satisfying power to them without being overwhelmingly hard or loud. The lack of excessive bass makes it sound great in just about any sound system, and the meticulous mixing makes it one incredibly smooth experience with a pair of good headphones. Beyond a technical perspective though, the songs are perfectly moody and expressive for what Ty Brasel was going for. Most of the beats move back and forth between moments of quietness and liveliness, making for an organic reflection of Ty Brasel's own heart and thoughts. This is a particularly strong addition when you consider how often Ty pauses in his rhyming or begins singing, or generally adjusts the pace of his flow in these songs. This is a project full of erratic and varying movements. Thematically, it moves from highs to lows within Ty's life, leaving the in-between unexplored and gray. The production plays into it, providing a bigger picture that shifts as often as Ty's flow and lyrical content does. Now, this is a tough one. On one hand, it feels entirely different from how Ty Brasel initially started. In his Cloud9 Raps mixtape, he was full of energy and had an overall aggressive rapping style. This didn't really see a huge change, in my opinion, until Young T, which still seemed related in that it felt like a distant sequel to Cloud9 Raps. Destined for Greatness Side A has all of the calmness of Young T, but none of the fire that Cloud9 Raps had. I've considered his progression overall though, and I have to say that this is probably the most logical step after Young T. It might not feel similar to his beginnings, but that's actually what helps it fit into the whole picture. In Cloud9 Raps, Ty was hungry to spread hope and get higher. His head was somewhat in the clouds, so to speak. With Young T, he was reflecting on recent successes, but was also arguably still aiming to go higher. There's none of that with this newest project. He doesn't sound hungry to go higher anymore. Ty hasn't reached the pinnacle of his destiny yet, but he's getting older and, as a result, wiser. He's taking some time to reflect on how high he's climbed and all the blood, sweat, and tears it took to get there. He doesn't sound as energetic because he's not trying to push out a message to anyone exactly. This entire project is a journey through the innermost parts of Ty's thoughts and memories. It's that moment we all take after exhaustion from hard work kicks in, to quietly think about everything we've been through. It makes me curious to see what Side B might end up looking like. If Side A was something like Ty taking a moment to rest and think, Side B may see Ty resuming his journey, or venturing even deeper into his own thoughts. It's a continuation of Ty's story, just not in the way that many people, myself included, have been expecting. I would say though that this is by far the most realistic and vulnerable project that Ty has put out so far, and yet it's such a short project that it truly does end up feeling like a brief pause compared to his longer projects. That's about as far as my breakdown of this project can go without getting too lengthy. All things considered, I think it's time to give my recommendations on this whole thing. Of course, it's best to consider what you're looking for in a project. If you're looking for a cohesive story that logically gets you from point A to point B in a satisfactory manner, this may not be the project for you. It's not as though the songs are haphazardly stuffed together within the project, but it's very reminiscent of the way our thoughts can jump from moment to moment so quickly. The thoughts and moments make great sense themselves, but the order in which they come isn't painting a vivid story full of details about each step. Each song on this project can be fully enjoyed on its own, and context from previous songs isn't necessary to understand what's going on. This makes it ideal for playing certain songs at any given moment and then being able to stop there. So if that's how you like to enjoy your mixtapes or albums, then this could be a great addition for you. Sound-wise, the project embodies the calmer and soulful side of Ty that's been there since songs like Lost in the Wild. Every song feels understated and subtle, with no dramatic build-ups. I wouldn't describe any of them as loud in the slightest. In that sense, it's a fantastic buy if you're looking for something to genuinely relax to. Each song has its own pace so that nothing feels repeated, but they all stay within that consistent space between mellow and mentally spaced out. If you were hoping for more songs like Backyard, New School, or anything generally energetic, then this project wouldn't have much for you. And ultimately, my last recommendation goes to people who generally enjoy Ty Brasel's music and the familiarity he brings to each of his projects. Like I've said before, this one is probably the most different and most subdued, but it's also the most organic and relatable project from Ty so far. If you enjoy the underdog aspect to Ty's artistry, then you'll find it at its finest within these songs. He's the artist that everyone loves to root for, and instead of basking in that, he chose to take a moment for some starkly honest reflection on his past life. I would say that it's things like this that help make Ty such a lovable underdog. And if you've loved any of his past projects, I can't really imagine that this one would disappoint. For such a short project, that sure was a lot to unpack and discuss in this review. It just goes to show that length isn't necessarily indicative of content, right? Well, at least those are my thoughts. What did you guys think about this project? For any other albums or mixtapes you would like to hear me cover, just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, peace out.